Welcome to another episode of Help My Buddy Bob, where we are going to pull this back leaner. It leans too much for wedging. I wouldn't even want to jack this thing, I don't think. You need some leverage up high to have real good command. So this is me holding the camera totally level. You can see that the lean is this way really hard, and we need to go this way. We're gonna need a block in the woods on a tree. So we'll take this guy and this guy, take it up there somewhere up the hill. I think I'll try to set a line with throw ball by hand, and if I can't get a good shot, I'll have to climb up there and put it exactly where I want it. I should probably watch. It's a micro bowline. And then I used to get fancy with how I hooked up these, but nowadays I just choke it off and pull it up like that. I used to make half hitches all the way up like this. But
oh, I missed it. You already did.
I already did a knot, you know?
Is that the same rope you used last time?
No.
It's a little huskier. This is the one that keeps unloading branches on my little cheap metal roof there.
Yeah. This is a leaner, man. It leans back hard.
Oh, there's 60 gallons of fresh gas in that can.
Oh, good.
Yeah, right there. So you don't want to go tight.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'll just use maybe that cedar. So put the block here, but we want the tree over in here. And not only is it really, really strong for a static load, but I'm using it in a basket formation. So I'm not just hooking that in, and I've got both ends. So whatever it had is doubled.
Twice, yeah.
We'll take that rope and drop it in. This and this in there. Now we're in a basket formation through the block back to the van.
Gotcha. You want me to move some of these blocks of wood out of here?
Nah, they might help you later, keeping it off the ground when you're cutting.
Well, I mean, but coming right through here, right towards your winch. That's what I'm looking at.
Well, we'll see. They'll kind of move.
All right. There you go. Strategically left here.
Yeah, all part of the plan. I like doing this with my green truck. I have a remote.
Oh, really?
And I sit right on the stump, and I'll be cutting and winching at the same time.
Sweet. Yeah.
Then it's, but with this tree, this is going to be a deal where you get it all cut up, it's crippled, and it's held by the rope. The rope is keeping it from going over, and then you're done cutting and you just come over here and pull it over.
That sounds nerve-wracking.
Not really, because you wouldn't do it unless you had the command. If you have the command, then you either have it or you don't.
I know.
So if you do, then there's nothing to worry about.
But if you don't know you didn't until at the last second, that could be.
Nah, you don't.
You know before then?
Yeah, it's simple because I have a fulcrum. I'm pulling from up high, and I'm gonna weaken the base with my saw so that it's gonna turn on that hinge, and it's not like I'm I have to be that powerful. I mean, I'm.
Oh, in this case, do you put pressure against it before you
Yes.
do the
Oh
undercut?
heck yes. Yeah. It'll this tree if we face cut it with
Might be enough to split
yeah
it out
it'd
of there.
split off backwards.
Yeah.
Unless you went for a real shallow face, but then you make it harder to pull over.
Yeah.
Because you move the fulcrum.
I know, I see some of these videos and they do such a tiny little undercut. It's like, I know where that tree's
Yeah.
going and it's not going
Yeah.
where they want it.
So that's one of the things I like to talk about is we're gonna winch on this thing and we're gonna show that we have command over it. Well, it's not even cut.
So you'll be able to get there and take a shot and see what it looks like now and
We-
then see it as it's pulling it
Well,
through.
we can watch it as we're gonna see this thing moving, and you know, we're gonna be like, oh shoot, we have.
There's always, probably 10 years ago, there was a sizable root what was cut right here too.
Now watch that thing move. Go over there with him and watch it move.
It's already moved about 6 inches. See?
So we have a lot on it, and it wasn't closing the kerf up much, but just enough. So I've basically given it somewhere to go here. So nice, tall, you know, very open notch, which means it will give the hinge time to work longer, because the hinge needs to work longer because it's not straight up and down. It's having to travel farther, be breaking fibers for a longer period of time before it's out here in the safe. So I've got a bunch of force against it. Plus I have removed some of the impediment that the grain of the wood would make right there. I'm going to give it a little more even. This is 5/8 bull line here. You want to be real careful about getting, like being right, pulling from over there. You're in the bite if you were to break your anchor, which kind of sucks, but we're using pretty big stuff here, so we're gonna overcome this tree soon. Yeah, see, look. See, we're putting a command on it that direction, even with all this wood that hasn't been cut yet. So what you want to be seeing right now, because you're here on the stump and you have all of this weight going back over where you don't want it to go. What you want to be seeing is this kerf opening up, which is telling you that you have command. You're taking it the direction you want it to go. Not only that, but as it goes that direction, it's becoming easier for it to take it that direction because you've opened it up some. You've overcome some of the hinge fibers that were keeping it from going where you wanted it with your initial force. Oh yeah, it's working good. Yeah, it's working great. I put the wedge in because one time I broke a line and I backed it up with the wedge, and so it didn't get to fall back as far. Mm-hmm. And it saved it. The line was too small back then, in case you're worried. This is a precaution. So tapping this just will take some strain off of all of that rigging. So if we were to break something, then it's an inch now that it can't come back. An inch down here is quite a bit up there.
It's such a good slow-mo.
Right there, it was perfect to see
If a
it.
tree falls in the forest and you don't hear it, did it really fall?
If a tree falls on your house and you're not home, did it make a sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hinges too.
Yeah, you want the hinge because it's controlling lateral movement. It's making the door open and close the same way every time.
Look how long ago this was scarred back here. How many years ago this was scarred on the side. There's where your rot was, right in there.
Yeah, it healed.
Yeah.
So the tree actually had weight this way. You can see the sweep as it's laying. That's why my hinge is fatter on this side.
Okay.
So I needed my hinge beefier here, or we would have
Or it could have gone up.
broken more of that madrone out.
Oh, you went just exactly where
Yeah.
you wanted to go. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's cool. That there doesn't need to be a bunch of stress and drama and fear when you're doing this if you have the right gear.
And the right guy cutting it.
Well, yeah,
I want to point out the limb
went up and stuff.
that the rope was over up there. That I got the rope, the throw line on my first shot, and then I was able to work the line back toward the trunk so that it was strong. Oh yeah, there it is. So there's you can see the rope was well against in close to where the branch bark ridge is.
Yeah,
The collar.
Right up at it.
So when you're doing it that way, you don't want your rope out here somewhere. When you start pulling hard and you think you're going someplace and then you break a limb and the rope bumps down and the whole tree sets back on you. So you want a real good close relationship with the rope to the stem. And if you want to be super sure, you climb up there and you put the rope on exactly where you want it so that it can't. But I could see that it was good from down on the ground. And we lost some bark there when we pulled it tight, but we didn't break the limb.